What do you get when you take fantasy football and make it real? Fan-controlled football. So what exactly is that? It's American football redesigned for Twitch. How did this happen? Who did this and why? Today's guest, Chase Baker, will tell you everything, and to be honest, it kind of blew my mind. Chase was a professional American football player representing Boise State for 5 years, and then was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings to play for the NFL. His passion and love for the game has driven him to be a part of FCL, who took American football and transformed it into an easily digestible digital format for Twitch. I'm Katarzyna Dąbrowska, and it's simple, you know? Today I've got Chase Baker with me. Hi Chase, how's it going?
Hi, Kate. Or Katarzyna. Say it again.
Katarzyna.
Katarzyna.
Nice.
I love
Good
it.
job. Good job. Tell me something. On your LinkedIn, it says that you're an athlete advocate, a coach, a founder, and a gaming and esport strategist. So what do you actually do?
That's all over the place, right? A little bit.
Yeah, maybe you should work on that.
Yeah, I know. We gotta, define it a little better. So right now I am the defensive line coach for a new professional football league called the Fan Control Football, and we're integrated with Twitch. They're equity partners with us, and so obviously that's the coaching part. I have started a number of different businesses. Some have failed miserably, but some of the other ones are doing all right now. In terms of an athlete advocate, like I said, I come from a traditional sports background, and when I finished playing, I went through a lot of struggles. So my goal is to help athletes avoid some of that and make sure that they're on a good track, especially once they finish their playing careers.
Okay, cool. So how does a traditional sport career look like? What does the beginning look like?
Yeah, so I played football, American football. Let me just clarify that.
Not soccer for everyone who's listening. Not soccer.
American football in Northern California for high school, and then I got a chance. I got a scholarship to Boise State out in Idaho, and I went and played there for 5 years. We won more college football games than anyone in the history of the NCAA. So had an amazing experience there. And then I went undrafted to the Minnesota Vikings and got to play in the NFL for a couple of years, stuck around, made a couple tackles out there, but was injured a lot. And once I finished playing, I jumped into, coaching, scouting, and it just stuck around the game. And my love for the game has kind of driven me from there. But yeah, that's kind of the traditional sports background right there.
Okay, and what is it what involvement do you have now still with American football?
Yeah, so this FCF, it's like I said, it's a new professional football league, and so I am the defensive line coach. And so we have 4 teams, but we are all in a sports bubble in Atlanta right now because of COVID. We are under a pretty strict COVID protocol, and so nobody comes or goes out of the hotel where we're staying, and we go play our games on Saturdays. But yeah, we're pretty locked down. But I coach all the defensive line for all 4 teams. I'm considered a master coach, if you will, and yeah, It's been amazing.
Okay, so we're going to have to break this down because probably a lot of the people listening will not be super familiar with American football. So that's the first thing.
Okay.
I mean, my entire knowledge comes from watching Friday Night Lights. So, I'm practically an expert. But most people won't know. Well, I'm assuming. I don't know. Maybe I'm just judging them by my own standards. I have this will be a ridiculous question, but I was having this discussion earlier with Hubert. How many people play, or how many players play generally in a regular NFL game?
Yeah, so you're looking at 11 people on each side.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, exactly. It's 11. Now the league we're in is 7-on-7, and so there's 3 offensive linemen, 3 wide receivers / running backs, and then the quarterback. And then on the defensive side of the ball, there's 3 defensive linemen. You have a linebacker, and then you have 3 DBs. We kind of redesigned the game, honestly, more forward leaning and very much built for fan engagement and for a fast-paced, more engaging experience.
So you whittled down the number of players to make it easier for fans to be engaged, and why else?
So we shortened the field, we shortened the time, and we just really wanted to limit the amount of commercials and breaks and penalties and all the stuff that slows down a normal football game, so that we could put this into digital format on Twitch, and so there's not all these delays, and we just wanted it fast hitting. We wanted entertaining. And so it's still, our goal is still to help our players get to the NFL. And we just kind of changed the format a little bit to make it more forward leaning and built for Twitch.
Okay, so this is kind of really interesting. That and I still have a lot of unpacking to do, because this is also kind of new, that you've redesigned a pretty classic sport, especially in America, to make it fit, the internet.
Correct.
What was the thinking behind this? What made you think, oh yeah, we need to redesign this game and put it on the internet? Like, what was this spark? What was the idea? Like, I'm really curious. I have to know.
I got you. So I'm telling the stories of the founders now. This isn't necessarily my involvement. I'm fairly new, honestly. I
Cool.
got hired
Okay.
about 3 months ago now. But the founders had owned an indoor arena team, which is a similar format. It's usually an 8-man football. And we even took one more to go here. But what they did was they took their indoor arena league and they allowed the fans to call the plays, and ended up being a hit success. Everybody loved being involved and feeling like they had a say in what was called on the field and what their team did. And so from that kind of, this idea of a whole league centered around the fans controlling everything, and that's what we've done. So the fans have picked the team names, the fans have chosen the logos. They've, they get to draft the players every week. We redraft players, and so it is truly, we try and really stick to the idea of fan controlled football.
Okay, Jesus, I have a million questions. So, so wow. Okay, so calling the plays. I assume that calling plays is something that generally a coach does, or maybe like the quarterback.
Correct. Generally, it's a coach that'll call the plays, and so we have our head coach is John Jenkins. He's a renowned coach. He kind of developed the run and shoot offense. He was a high scoring coach, and so he designed all the plays. And what happens is we have a Twitch extension, and on there, like before the play, you choose either run or pass. There's you can either run the ball or you can pass the ball. And so the fans have about 10 seconds, I believe, to choose between those two options. Once they choose one,
Wow.
so if they the 59% choose pass, we go 4 pass plays come up that the coach feels would be a good selection in that scenario based on down and distance, where the ball is, what hash. And the fans get to choose out of those 4 plays. And so obviously we want to set the fans up for success, and we don't want them running, crazy plays that don't belong there. But yeah, no, it's very much the fans get to choose. And so we just, it's kind of out of our hands. I guess it makes our jobs a little easier as coaches, because the onus isn't on us to make the right calls. Now it's on the fans, and our guys just go out there.
Right. If they fuck up, it's their problem.
Exactly. It's their fault. So they can't anymore.
So if I understand it correctly, they get a choice. They don't get to like make up their own plays, but you say, okay, here's one play, here's the other play. Both are decent plays. Choose.
Essentially, yes. Obviously, these guys have to practice these plays, so we need to know what they are. We can't just make them up on the spot. But yeah, no, these guys are out here repping the plays every day, day in and day out during practice, and making sure we run it at a high, it's high performing play. And so we want to make sure the fans are set up for success.
And earlier you mentioned something about drafting. Can you explain what exactly is drafting in this context, and how is it being applied in this version of football?
Yes. So I will just say this, that essentially what we've created is a live version of Madden. I don't know if you guys have Madden's very popular out there, but Madden football and fantasy football, right? Or if you guys might know.
I know what fantasy football is. Madden, the name rings a bell, but I wouldn't be able to explain it to you. But fantasy football, I get that you kind of make up, well, if I understand it correctly, you make up your own team. basically.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And so what we've done is every week we have a pool of players, and you get to draft the players each week based on how they did last week. If they made a lot of plays for the team you played against, and you want to steal them, you can come in and draft them high and take them away. So it's very much a fantasy kind of format where you get to choose your players each week that'll be running the plays that you choose. But yeah, it's kind of a collision of fantasy, and Madden is a football video game, and so yeah,
Ah, okay.
it's a collision of all the things I love. It's gaming, it's Madden, it's it's fantasy football, and then it's real football where we're out there, smacking people. So it's awesome.
But it's like this game, as in this football game, has been on top of that gamified. So it's
Exactly.
like double gaming.
It's double gaming, exactly, and there's
Yeah,
even
that's
more
so
new stuff
crazy.
that isn't generally in a football game. We have the ability for fans to get an extra down, so the fans can earn an extra down. They have the ability to do power ups where they can take a defender off the field, and make it tougher on the defense to stop them. Uh, there's different challenges. There's a bunch of interesting twists on the game, that, like I said, we've redesigned this to really. Um, Engage the fans and keep them interested, and just make it a more interesting and entertaining event.
Wow. Out of all the things that you just said that are additional, I pretty much didn't understand any of that. Uh, but I have heard the term with the down. I can't even repeat the term. With another down or no, extra down. What did you say? What
An
was
extra
it?
down,
An
exactly an
extra
extra
down.
down.
I was literally just watching Friends and they were playing football and they were saying, we have an extra down, and they had a fight about it. But I didn't know what they meant. So now I've got you to explain it
Yeah,
to me. What
yeah.
is
So,
that?
so in football, generally you have 4 downs to get a first down, and then you get a new set of downs, right? So you have 4 more. So you have to get those 10 yards in order to get that new set of downs. Generally, what happens is you go to 3, and if you haven't, got the first down on the fourth, you turn the ball over to the other team. And so in standard football, on fourth down, they're going to punt it back to the other team. In this, there's no punting, there's no kicking. So you have to go for it on fourth down. If you don't get it, you turn the ball over. But there is a fifth down option for fans in our league. And so they can earn it
Uh-huh.
based on their engagement with the Twitch, by calling enough plays and being right on their plays. They can earn an extra down for their team.
Okay. And what about the players? Are these like, I mean, where do the players come from? Are they college players? Are they a bit older? Are they a bit younger? What's the demographic there?
Oh, we have a really they come from all over the place. Honestly, it's an awesome compilation of guys. We've got guys that are fresh out of college, that just played 4 or 5 years of college ball. We have guys that have bounced around, that have played in the NFL, that have NFL experience, that have CFL experience, that have played at a pro level and are trying to get back to that. We have guys that have never played college football or haven't played since high school at all, and some guys, I don't know if they had ever played, and they just had the raw athletic skill set that we wanted to see what they could do on the field. So it's a wide combination of guys, and that all have kind of the same goal of trying to get to the NFL or the next level.
Okay, so these are guys that haven't been in the NFL, but they would like to maybe.
Exactly. These are high performing college players that, especially with the COVID this year, probably didn't get the chance they felt they deserved to try out for a team. And so we've kind of stepped in, and we have some amazing coaches. Some of our coaches have won multiple Super Bowl rings, have won college championships. So there's just a plethora of experience, from the coaching perspective, and we're just trying to coach these guys up to help them on their journey of becoming even further better professional athlete.
It's just such a unique concept, I think, and I was thinking. Oh, actually, no. Before I was thinking, I was going to ask you because this is a relatively new thing, isn't it? Like, didn't you guys just have like the first match this weekend, or am I completely wrong?
No, you're dead on. So this Saturday, last Saturday, at I believe 8 p.m. Eastern, which I think it's 5 hours ahead of you guys. We had our first
Yeah, I
ever
think you
match.
guys are in the
And
future.
yeah, in the future, or are we behind? I don't remember. I think we're behind. But
Oh,
yeah,
maybe you are behind.
yeah, we're 5 hours behind y'all, so you're experiencing life at a faster pace. But yeah, our
Oh,
first game was
okay.
this weekend, and it was amazing. We saw growth across the board. Instagram grew from like 20,000 to 130,000. Our Twitch grew
Wow.
from like 15,000 to 45,000 with like 1,000 subscribers. So it we had a very welcoming and exciting first weekend, and we expect to continue to grow as people hear about it and engage. Nothing but expansion from here, I think.
And what was like the sort of the crunch time right before the game, like maybe the week or the few days before? Like, what were you guys doing to prepare to make sure that everything was done that needed to be done?
Yeah, so for the last month, we've been here in Atlanta in this bubble, and we've been going through training camp. We went through, almost 3 weeks of two-a-days where we're grinding football. We're practicing twice a day, and getting these guys mentally and physically ready to play at a high level. And so the week before the game, we kind of settled down. Like this is a standard week right now that we're in. So yesterday, we go Tuesday, Wednesday are our, we're full pads. We're practicing pretty hard. Wednesday we go more a little more walk or a slower tempo where we're not trying to hit each other or hurt anybody. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then Friday we're walk through very relaxed. We're just getting our bodies right, making sure we're ready to go. And then Saturday comes around and it's all out. So the weeks are set up to make sure our guys are healthy and ready to play to the best of their ability on Saturday.
This might be an obvious question, but these guys are obviously not playing for anyone else right now. I assume they're on these teams, and that's the extent of their career right now.
Correct. We have players that were signed with the Canadian Football League, the CFL, but because of COVID, they didn't play last year, and we're not sure they'll even
Mm-hmm.
play this year. So there's not a ton of different avenues that college or high school anybody can play in terms of professional football. The NFL did a great job with their COVID. They got through the whole season, and obviously it hurts some
Mm-hmm.
more than others, but they did a great job, and that's I think financial resources is a big part of that, but there's just not a lot of football being played right now, so we're excited and very blessed to be able to be doing what we enjoy and what we love.
So besides the NFL and now you guys, is all other football not happening, like college football or high school football? Like, what is the situation around this with COVID with you guys? Or is it like it's probably different per state, but like just a general idea?
Exactly. It's different per state. So when all this started going and before the college football season, a number of college teams had decided not to play, and leagues had decided not to play. Some switched that up and went ahead and played anyway, like figured out a way. And most of them made it through the year relatively unscathed. Some of them had some issues and had to, guys weren't able to play, and guys were being quarantined, all over the place. But for the most part, the college football played out this season. That
Mm-hmm.
said, the CFL did not play, which they've been going almost longer than the NFL. I think that they're like 110 years in, a
Wow.
10-year-old sports league. But yeah, no, a lot of and there were a number of different college leagues and programs that didn't play at all, and so it'll be interesting to see how things play out this year. Obviously, I hope everybody gets to play. We don't, it's a big revenue source, and it's a big, it's a way for these young athletes to make a name for themselves, and so it's unfortunate if they aren't able to play, but obviously safety first. So we'll see how things play out.
Yeah. And I don't know how much of this you have. Hmm. I'm not sure how involved you are in what I'm about to ask, because I know you're mainly coaching, but how is the promotion of something like this happening? Like, is it mainly happening on Twitch? Is it, I mean, you mentioned Instagram, and are the players themselves also promoting it across their different channels? What's the strategy like?
Absolutely. So yeah, it is pretty cool because all the players here, they're trying to get their name out, so they're pushing, the FCF themselves, and so we have essentially 100 plus micro influencers, and some of them aren't micro, some of them are macro. We have Johnny Football; he was a
Mm-hmm.
former Heisman Trophy winner. And we got, some big time college players and that have hundreds of thousands, and Johnny has a couple million followers. So, and they're obviously blasting out on their social, but our partnership with Twitch puts us on the front page. So when we're playing our games, we're on that front page of Twitch, and that definitely helps with exposure. And then on the top of that, we do a lot of programming throughout the week. We try and bring in fans to let them engage with the players, as well as better understand the game. So we do stuff where we go through film and we break down the plays, and we want fans to understand what the players are trying to do, kind of the objectives of the plays and the play calls, so they can make the best decisions possible come game time. And also we want our guys to build their brand off the field. We want them to be able to have something that goes beyond their playing days. And that, like I said at the very beginning, I consider myself an athlete advocate. I want to help them succeed off the field as well. And I think this league walks that talk and does a great job with it.
Mm. And tell me about Saturday night. Like, how did it go? Was there any fuck ups that you were not expecting that had to be dealt with, or was it generally smooth sailing?
Yeah, no, I wasn't up top. I know we've done a couple tests where we had issues, but I think for the most part, our CTO and all of our staff did a great job of making it run very smoothly. Obviously, we have some tweaks we can make. I think we can speed it up a little bit, but overall, it was a great success. The guys on the field loved it. We played some great football. My defensive lineman got after it. We got a couple sacks. We also missed one on the last play of the game. It was a crazy last play of the game. He ended up escaped like 3 tackles, got over, threw it to a guy, and he almost ran all the way down for a touchdown. At the very end, he got chopped, his legs got cut out, and he does like a flip over. It was insane. And so it was just really cool. But great first week, honestly. Not a lot of mistakes, a few, but nothing too crazy. And we'll just continue to get better from here.
And what was the reception of the fans, and how did the players feel about it as well? I'm curious.
I think the immediate growth, and the immediately once the game was over, it was everywhere. And out here, Sports Center is the main source of sports. And it was all over Sports Center. It was over a bunch of these big channels, and the guys loved seeing it. They were essentially on the big screen, and there was some controversy around it because it is different. And so things that are different aren't always immediately accepted, and there's some pushback. But we expected that. But for the most part, it was very positive, and people really enjoyed the experience.
Yeah, my mind is still kind of blown about this concept. Because I'm watching a lot of changes, especially as I talk to the people, the guests on the podcasts, and I'm seeing. I feel like I have this little viewfinder on these really random pockets of the world that are doing things that people just have, no idea about. And for me, this is really so crazy that you've changed a traditional sport and made it into something that's more internet friendly and also good for the players, because COVID has really fucked our shit up last year and is continuing to do so. So my mind is a little bit blown by this whole thing, I have to tell you.
No, it blew my mind too when I first learned about it, but that's why I was so excited to get involved. I love the gaming and esports scene. I'm active and trying to help athletes in there. But yeah, it's different, it's unique, and I was excited to be a part of it.
So how did you hear about this?
So I was at a former NFL player event. It was a gaming event. We were all it was a tournament, so we were playing some games together. And one of the guys came in, and he, we had some guest speakers, and he got up and kind of spoke a little bit about the FCF and the vision they had. And so after that, I went up and was just talking to him and let him know, if they were ever looking for defensive line coaches, to hit me up. And that was about like I said, over 2 years ago. And so a couple months ago, got a call and asked if I was still interested in coaching D-line. Obviously, absolutely, I said. So did an interview, had the whole, team of coaches and executives, and it went really well. And I was just excited that they brought me on.
Why do you think that they picked you?
I think just the versatility. Obviously, I don't have as much experience as some of these other coaches that are out there, but I do have coaching experience. I played in the NFL. I scouted at the NFL. I've scouted at a high level, and then my experience with Twitch. I understand streaming and Twitch and the gaming side of things, and I think they saw that and recognized that I could help on a number of different fronts. And so, yeah, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to help wherever I could, wherever they asked me to help. I want to be there for them. And so, first and foremost, I'm a coach, and I'm here to help my athletes. But in terms of the
Hmm.
FCF, I think I'm versatile and I can do a lot of different things for the company.
Yeah. I was wondering if you, to your knowledge, do you think that there's any other sport that is being transformed in such a way for the internet? Do you think that this is the first of its kind in the world?
I think sports in general, like as a whole, they're trying to figure out ways to engage, this Gen Z, I guess, uh,
Mm-hmm.
making it fast paced, more engaging. But in terms of a holistic approach and completely changing the way a game is played to fit into this format, I think we're the first. And I know we have a couple plans for of other sports to kind of bring this to. But right now,
Mm-hmm.
I think the FCF, fan control football, is the first to completely change the format of it to fit the internet.
Yeah, it's definitely the first time I've heard of anything like this, and it's super interesting to see how things are changing just because of the world changing.
Yeah, definitely, and especially with you know, COVID has been awful for around the world. It's been a terrible thing, but it has helped the streaming community, and it's
Oh yeah,
helped push forward what we're
streaming
doing.
has boomed.
Yeah, exactly. So it's I don't know what you want to call it. It's not a blessing in disguise, but it's definitely.
Well, I mean, you know what? You could say that for a lot of people it is. I mean, for some people it's not. For some people it's just been a tragedy.
Yeah.
Some people have benefited greatly while suffering. So it's a bit of a mix and match, I think.
Definitely, definitely. Like you said, just pushing forward the streaming world, it's helped. It really has. A lot of time people are getting into it more. They have more time and they're jumping on and they're finding community. I think that's the cool part is everybody around the world
Yeah.
do something similar. And you can jump on Twitch or some of these Facebook gaming, whatever it may be, whatever platform you love, and you're gonna find people going through similar stuff. So you can find a community
Yeah.
uh, through streaming.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the awesome benefits, I think. Uh, you mentioned earlier that you love gaming, and I understood that to mean that you love like video games.
Yes.
Am I? Yeah. So what's the story with you and video games?
Oh man, from a young age, my parents didn't buy me the consoles immediately, but
No.
my cousins had like the Nintendo, and so I would walk to his house as often as I could to go play Duck Hunt and some of the shoot Mario and all that good stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I just developed a love for it very young. And then once I grew a little older, my family owned a construction business. And so when the PlayStation 2 was coming out, I worked for a couple months to save up enough money to buy that PlayStation 2. And that was the
Wow. I
first.
remember there was like Crash Bandicoot was on that.
Yeah, yeah. I love Crash too.
Yeah, Crash was cool.
Exactly. Crash. I actually just, me and my wife play that still. We bought the newest one for,
Really?
or not
Wow.
last year, maybe a year and a half ago. And yeah, the team Crash Team Racing. Oh, loved it.
So you saved for your PlayStation 2
Yep.
when you
Um,
were, how old were you?
I would have been about 12, 11 or 12, maybe 13. No, 12. I'd go out and dig holes. We built fences, and so it was hard physical labor, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was worth it. And so I think that contributed to my success on the field as well, right? I'd be out there doing physical labor, building fences, digging holes, before and after practice. And so I was always building
Yeah.
muscle and that strength, and it definitely helped on the field. But um, I've just always loved gaming, and so especially once the Call of Duty started coming out, I played every single Call of Duty since the first one, and that's kind of been my game. But
Okay, so that's your game.
That's my game, and right now I'm on a big Warzone kick, and I know that's meta and the most popular game and kind of boring, but that's the game I love. It's I love all the games because they get very intricate and there's a lot to it with the
Hmm.
ARPGs and stuff. But I need something simple
Yeah,
to
that's my
get my mind
jam.
off. Yeah, exactly. You guys, that's smart gaming. You got to be intelligent to that. There's just too much going on for me. I need to shoot or like aim and
You
shoot
need to shoot shit, yeah.
and yeah, exactly. I'm trying to kill the other guy on the other side of the screen, and that's where I get a kick out of it. But no, honestly, the ARPGs and the role playing games, you guys, that's another level. It's an intelligent gamer's style there.
I kind of just like the story, like I like the story. I like doing all the quests and running around with my bow and arrow or, my gun, whatever. With maybe if it's Fallout and just, going through the story. And I'm one of those players that I have to do everything in the game. I have to like complete every single thing that's available to complete.
Yeah, no,
And it takes, forever.
exactly, and that's been kind of the problem, right? Is I just haven't had that time, and especially during the athletic career, you got to get in and get it out, and so. But I understand it. I really do. I love some of that, the portion of that. Um, just as an athlete, it wasn't. I didn't have that ability, but
It's not feasible time wise.
yeah, it's a little tougher. But no, I still appreciate it. I'll jump on Twitch and I'll watch guys play it when I can, and I love people that that walk me through it. Because for me, like I said, that's just an intelligent person's video game, so I need to be explained it, and they need to break it down. And so when I find streamers that do that, I'll stick around for a bit.
See, like I have a rule in my life now that I'm living in Poland, and here, like you've got a pretty solid winter. So, like my gaming time is winter time because once spring comes along, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
But you did just mention watching people do it, and this is something still I have trouble wrapping my like brain around it that people watch other people play games. This is something I've never done, except if it's maybe like for a boyfriend or something sitting next to me and playing something. But like to log on and go on Twitch and actually watch someone play a game is such a foreign concept to me. I just don't get it.
No, I didn't either for a long time either. It was very
Oh, are
different.
you telling me it could happen to me too?
Oh yeah, no. If you hang around, find the right people, and you find someone that's whether whether you're looking for entertainment or knowledge, or you're trying to get better at whatever game you want to play, um, you'll find something like that, and it'll just be sticky, and you won't be able to leave, and you'll enjoy listening to what they have to say and or how they break down the game, and yeah, so it's just about finding the right people to watch.
I was considering when Cyberpunk came out and I started playing, I was talking to myself a lot. And I realized like I could be streaming this. Like people might actually find my commentary amusing.
Oh, absolutely. You definitely should. I encourage everybody, especially if you enjoy talking through it, and that's the biggest issue my athletes have, right? Is when I try and get them streaming, they just zone in on the game and they don't engage and they don't
Mm-hmm.
talk through things. But if you're able to talk through things and love talking and breaking it down, you can absolutely have success on Twitch.
Yeah, totally. So we're coming up to almost being out of time. And I have like two of my most important questions that I want to ask you. But before I ask you those questions, I want you to just talk a little bit about what education you had in order to be able to do the things that you do, like in terms of classical education, uni and stuff like that.
Yeah, so at Boise State, I went and I got a bachelor's in business, and so that's I always like I said, my family owned their business. I wanted to be able to help out with that, and that's why I went that route.
Mm-hmm.
And then as it went on, I obviously noticed that, I love doing my own thing, and that's what I wanted to. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be my own boss and set my own schedule, and then live and die by my actions. And
Mm-hmm.
that was amazing. But at the same time, I love sports, and so once I finished playing and scouting, I had the opportunity. I went back to Southern Methodist University in Dallas and got my master's in sport management. And so those are
Okay.
kind of my traditional educational backgrounds.
Okay. And so you were able to mix all of that together along with your experience and different things that you were into and for it to propel you forward to where you are now, I guess.
Exactly. It helps, obviously. In this age, there's so much information everywhere, and you can find a lot of the information. But having that piece of paper, the certificate or the degree, it helps in the job search. But that said, I don't know that I was ever looking for a job, but I do appreciate the network and the people that I met at SMU. And yeah, no, it's a combination of the education, the experience, and the passions, and you just mash it all together and figure out something you love to do.
Yeah, I think if you like love what you do and you're excited about it, like jobs just find you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You put yourself around the things you enjoy doing, and you'll figure out a way. Sometimes you might have to work for free. You got to provide value in different ways to
Mm-hmm.
show what you can do, but get around the things you love and get involved and find people that are doing or have done what you vision, your vision of what you'd like to do, and just pick their brains and find ways to get around them, and it'll just kind of rub off, and opportunity will find you.
Yeah, I feel like, funnily enough, we have veered into the territory of my first question of the two questions, which is, what advice would you give to someone that's dreaming of a career in your industry, which is quite a unique situation now. But what kind of advice would you give to someone who wants to do similar things?
Yeah, so I don't know whether you're talking about football or within like the gaming side of things,
All of
but
it.
so I think I go back to just be around it, find ways to provide value to the people in the industry, and
Hmm.
especially if you don't come from that industry, you're probably going to have to take an internship or something along those lines. I've done a number of internships, so you just you have to bite that bullet and jump in and show that you have the work ethic and the passion and the desire to make an impact in that field, and you do whatever you can to make yourself, to make it to where they got to keep you around.
And what advice would you give to your younger self?
What advice would I give to my younger self? I would probably go back and tell myself to jump in with both feet when I see something that I want to do. I had the tendency to kind of just test things out, and I think that was the wrong way to do it. So I tell them, if you want to be in gaming, or if you wanted to be in scouting, whatever it was, jump all in. Don't try and test the waters. Get involved, dig in as much as you can, put in the effort, for at least 6 months to a year, and stick with it, and then make a determination. Too often I would find myself, kind of testing the waters, and maybe I do, maybe I don't, and I think that was the wrong way to go about it. So I'd say jump in with both feet. Don't be afraid to fail, and figure it out from there. But yeah.
That's awesome advice. And on that end, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for your time today, Chase.
Awesome. Thank you, Kate. I appreciate you having me on. It was blast. Would love to join another time, hopefully at the end of the season or something. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much for being here, Chase.